Hello everyone, welcome to Cleo's Crawl Space. This is Bip on the background of our 90-gallon hermit crab tank. Today we're going to be just tidying up, cleaning up the mess that they've made in here. I do this a couple times a month just to keep everything tidy. There's only 2 crabs up in this tank. There's 5 total, but 3 of them are molting right now. But these 2 crabs have certainly managed to make a huge mess. So we're going to work on getting this cleaned up today. We've had somebody pull down the background. There's just stuff everywhere. So I just thought I'd bring you along as I went through the process of cleaning up and restocking things in this tank. This is a little before video of what we've got going on, and we will show an after video as well at the end. Here's just a little shot from the inside. I did want to mention before we get started that I'm shooting a lot of this from the outside of the tank, so the picture does look a little bit fuzzy because there's a little bit of a film on the glass from the saltwater condensation. So just bear with me. I tried to wipe it down, but it might still look a little fuzzy. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just take out all of the things that need to be rinsed off and just give them a rinse in regular tap water. I had already cleaned out the food from their bowl earlier in the day because it was a little funky, so that was why that was already empty. That's their cork. And then we're just going to continue to take out things that need to be rinsed or have sand shaken off. And we're going to take out the shells and all the stuff on the substrate so we can get this cleaned up. This is our shell shop. It has sphagnum moss and shells inside, and they love to sit in there, so it gets really dirty. So we'll clean this out today. I did want to show you these huge shells that belong to our jumbo Goliath. This is my hand, an adult-sized hand, so his shells are huge and he's a really big boy. I got really scared right here because I saw the top of a shell and I thought it might be a molting crab, but then after looking at it and brushing it off, I realized this is an empty shell, so I went ahead and pried it out of the sand. Sometimes the moss and debris that is on top of the substrate from the leaf litter will get kind of yucky, and we'll get fruit flies in there sometimes that I think are drawn to that decomposing matter. So I like to, a couple times a month, take all of that off of the top of the substrate, and that's what I'm doing here. I also like to use a paper towel, just fold it up into a square to wipe down the condensation on the side of the tank and any sand that the crabs may have pushed up onto the wall. We're going to go ahead and refill our shell shop with fresh sphagnum moss and then put the little shells back in there. Usually I leave the larger shells just sitting around on the substrate. Now I am just taking a clean paper towel and wiping down the sides of the pools. I find that this keeps them a little bit cleaner because they don't brush accumulated sand from the side of the pool into the water. The crabs like to use the shells that I set around the outside of the shell shop as a little ladder to get in, so that's why I always put some around the edge as well. We have a lot of shells in this tank because there's 5 crabs in here, and the recommendation is 5 appropriate shells per crab. So that would be 25 shells. I honestly probably have more than 25 in here, but I like for them to have a selection, and they seem to really enjoy the shells climbing on them and sitting in them. I'm not sure if it makes them feel safe, but they look beautiful in here too, so I don't mind having extras. I hang the hygrometer for this tank off of the thermostat probe. That just seems to work for me. I know a lot of people use holders to hang them, but not only does this hold the hygrometer, it also helps the thermostat probe to hang straight down. And this has worked really well for me, so this is what I do. I buy most of our food from Just Tool Crabs. I will link that below. I have these summer fling flowers that came from Earth Fire Water Studio on Etsy. Mary Acres sells these, and the crabs love these. I like to put them in this dish to use as foraging items. And then we also have snake skin in the bag that I just showed. I think that came from Hermit Harbor. Here we're just adding Prime, which is a conditioning liquid that gets rid of chlorine and any yucky stuff that might be in your pools. This is Better Than Leaf Litter from South of the Ocean on Etsy. I mentioned this in my first video that I made for Cleo's enclosure build. I use these in a lot of different places in our home. The crabs love this stuff. This is made for crabs, but we use it for our spider, for our isopods. The crabs eat it, they hide in it. It's great stuff. This is another South of the Ocean item. Actually, we got 2 here. We have Wagyu beef tallow and the Alaskan salmon oil. The crabs go wild for this stuff. Definitely check out South of the Ocean because they have a great variety of things that the crabs will love. The oil well I show here is also from Mary Acres Etsy shop, Earth Fire Water Studio, and I will link that shop again below. But this is great for oils because it kind of keeps it from getting all over the crabs and keeps it contained. And that is it. The crabs really seem to enjoy exploring and checking everything out after we do a cleanup. So I love to see how they explore, and you can tell in this video, I took this a little bit later because they've already been in the shell shop and the moss is all messed up. So it's not quite as clean as it was to begin with. Here is Bip checking out his clean pool. I did clean the pools and refresh the water. I didn't show that in this video because I'm hoping to make a video about that in the future. That's kind of a whole separate process. But he really loves the water. He's recently up from a molt and he seems to be super active, but we couldn't end the video without some cute Bip footage. So here he is checking out his clean pool. Here's another cute shot of Bip grooming. So I guess we're gonna have a clean Bip and a clean tank. He is the sweetest little guy and so funny to watch. Here is Bip taking a swim in his clean pool. He is so cute and he is such a water bug.